And welcome to yet another edition of Ask the AD. I'm Dave Horger. This is Greg Christopher, the athletic director here at Bowling Green State University. We have some really good questions that you people have submitted. So Greg, let's get right into it. Let's start with football. Let's start with Temple. Rumors circulating they want to go other places. What can you tell us about that?
Right now they're in the Mid-American Conference. At least I haven't gotten any emails or phone calls, but yeah, it's been rather public. I don't know a whole lot than is more that's out there right now. Mm-hmm. I believe they've either received invitation or overtures, not only from the Big East, but this new Conference USA Mountain West. So, you know, we'll find out where things are going, but the signals are that there are at least conversations ongoing right now with the Big East. And I know that the Mid-American Conference is then talking and keeping in communication with Temple. Where it goes, who knows? And then obviously the next question I've always gotten is, hey, does this mean we're going back to the East? Yeah. And you know, at the end of the day, we need to play 8 MAC football games. And Dave and I have talked a lot about it. I don't know. There's pros and cons either way. You know, and I think it's really too early to tell. Let's figure out what's happening with Temple, and then we'll figure out what's happening with Bowling Green.
I am guessing there is a specific process that a team would go through. Let's say if BG wanted to leave the Mid-American Conference, you can't just get up and go.
No, and I think it's been rather, it's been out there, I think, pretty public too. The bylaws, as I understand them, call for $2.5 million to leave the conference and 2 years' notice. The sticking point is the 2 years' notice. So I think what they're probably trying to do, I'm guessing to some degree, is determine a value of what that 2 years might be worth, because you know, at least what I read is that they're trying to fill Temple into the Big East right now for this fall to fill a hole so that they don't end up having to play home and homes in football.
Spring game? When is the spring game?
Friday night, I believe. That's Friday the 13th this year. So yeah, 7 o'clock, and looking forward to that. Obviously, you need to get into spring practice, so I think they start right after spring break. They're allowed 15 practices, and practice that last practice will be the spring game. And
the new message board, scoreboard, it'll be a go.
That's what I'm told.
Okay.
That's whether or not we know how to work it, we'll find out. But it should be up there.
Okay. Let's talk hockey. Regular season's over. CCHA tournament coming up. It was kind of like old times over the weekend with Michigan and the record crowd and so forth. I'm guessing you're of the opinion, like most people are, we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, you know, I've said this a lot this year, Dave. I think if you watched us play any time this year, you know, whether it was October or even just last week, if you just take a snapshot, we are bigger, we're stronger, we're faster, we're more skilled. You know, clearly we aren't where we want to be yet. But you know, I think there was incremental improvement this year. It would be the best way I would say it. And in the fall, what I got frustrated with, and I know Chris was frustrated with this, in that you could see that we were better, but there were no positive results, or very few positive results. We had that nice early stretch of non-conference games. But once we get in conference and the competition got better, frankly, we weren't getting a whole lot of positive results. So it was nice when they came back from Christmas break and you got into the second half of the season that the team was rewarded, at least on occasion. You know, you pretty much every weekend we somehow got some points. And that's really the key to growth and success, I think, is that those kids get some sort of positive results week in, week out.
I'm assuming when you sit down with the coach, with the evaluation, you'll be thinking in terms of, here's what we expect next year, and more positive results.
Yeah,
we kind of need those.
I think, you know, we continue. We're in last place. There's no way to sugarcoat that, you know. And so yes, we don't expect to be in last place next year. I always talk in terms, you know, a word I've used with you before and others is, you know, what's the direction of the team? Where are we headed directionally? I would never pin, you need to be in this place next year, you know, to follow some sort of map. It doesn't work that way in athletics, but do we continue to get better? Yes, I think we will next year.
Let's talk about a team that's in first place. The women's basketball program, I know you're heading there tonight, will be their game at Kent. Another terrific job. They lost 6,000 points and 6 seniors, and they keep winning.
They keep winning. Again, testament to what Kurt and his staff do, and you know, that program you know, just reloads in a lot of different ways. And it's also a testament to when you have that long of sustained success, how a program, I don't want to say just takes care of itself, but it keeps attracting new talent. And you know, the best players in the Midwest want to play for Kurt and want to play at Bowling Green, and clearly that success just continues. And would I have predicted that they would be in this position at the end of the year? I might have, from a Mid-American Conference standpoint, because you knew that we were still going to be one of the top 2, 3, 4 teams in the league. But hats off to Kurt and staff for, what, again, just a great job. And
when a program wins, it helps even from a financial perspective, because people are more likely to give $250,000.
Yeah, absolutely. What Diane did is tremendous, and you know, people they look at that press release and they think, wow, where did Diane come from? And they don't realize that, again, in Diane's case, it's been a 20-year relationship with the university. Just the same way with Bill Frack, they look at what Bill did and go, wow, where did that come from? Well, they don't realize there's 60 years building up to that. And Diane's been a fan and stands supporting women's basketball for Bowling Green for a long time.
Let's shift to soccer. The coaching change was made this week. Greg, tell us, if you would, what you can about that. And I know some people are wondering, why was it done at this particular point as opposed to the end of the year?
Yeah, Dave, I think the big picture answer to that would be that when it comes to making a change, you know, whether it's with a staff member or a coach, it's probably one of the harder decisions I have to make. You know, when is the right time to make a change? And the word I used earlier, directional, is very important in trying to evaluate things. It goes without saying, I'm probably not going to get into the details here of any of that. You know, I'll just say that the program wasn't where we wanted to be, and you know, that ends up being how we end up making decisions. The timing, I don't know if there's ever a perfect time. You know, this one I have gotten a couple of questions of why now as opposed to November when the season was over, and I'll just say, you know, that's conversations that were going on internally, and just leave it at that. I get that the timing is awkward, but we have great faith in Kelly as an interim coach, and I know she'll do a terrific job, and we've met with the team, met with Kelly, and I think things are tracking in the direction we want.
Nationwide search has begun.
Yeah, well, yes and no. We have already received a lot of people have an interest in the program, but we have publicly said, and Kelly will be our coach through the fall. So very similar, almost in a way, very different circumstances, but with the volleyball search and with Denise retiring, we knew that she was retiring at the end of the season. So that we could get some research done during the year. So we'll probably do the same thing here. We'll use the fall to get some research done on candidates, and then we'll kick off the actual search once their season ends in November.
We have a couple of NCAA issues, including multi-year scholarships, which apparently it's been passed, and you guys are working on that. But also the $2,000 stipend, and you're still working on getting that passed. So tell us what that's all about, how it affects BGSC.
Yeah, the two big picture issues facing our industry right now: multi-year scholarships, $2,000 stipend for student athletes. And it's fascinating. I haven't been in college athletics. I've been in college athletics for maybe about 15 plus years. But if you talk to the people that have been in it for a long, long time, they'll tell you it's funny how things come in full circle. That way back when, there were multi-year scholarships. Then, in the name of student athlete welfare, they got rid of them, you know, because they thought it tied the hands of the student athletes too much. So now, in the name of student athlete welfare, we're going back to multi-year scholarships. I don't pretend to have a ton of history on it, but it does seem to, by going to a multi-year scholarship, my sense is it ties the hands of the student athletes a little bit. But that's a whole nother conversation. But those have been approved. So now, starting in the fall of 13, our coaches will have to manage, you know, are you going to offer a 1-year scholarship, 2-year scholarship, 3-year scholarship, or 4-year scholarship to a student athlete? It just adds a layer, a dynamic to what a coach is going to have to offer. The $2,000 stipend, cost of attendance stipend is really what it's officially being called, has not been passed yet, and that vote will take place later this year. The multi-year scholarship vote was really close. It came down to 2 votes out of 330 plus schools, and I would imagine the cost of attendance stipend, or the $2,000 stipend vote, will also be very close sometime this year.
The multi-year scholarship deal is coaches are some for that, some against that? It complicates things, or what's your take on how they feel about it?
It clearly complicates things. There's no way around that. You know, when we have talked about it in our coaches' room at our info sharing meetings, my sense is coaches aren't quite sure what to make of it yet. And a lot of it, I think their reaction will have to be, what does the rest of the marketplace do? So I'm not sure they know how it impacts them quite yet. So probably a little too early to say, do they like it or dislike it? But it does cloud it or complicate it. It's one more thing to think of.
Let's close with Jim Tressel.
Sure.
He's
not a Buckeye, he's now a Zip.
Yeah, he's a Zip. He's kind of in the Mid-American Conference. People are wondering, with the sanctions against him, how can he be hired by the Zips of Akron? And a question I have, and I know you can't answer this, where do they come up with the $200,000 to create this job for this guy?
Yeah, I'll steer clear of that one. Okay. But he's not coaching. That's the show cause penalty. You're right, he does have a 5-year show cause penalty, which effectively, in my opinion, probably ends his college coaching career. You know, when you think about 5 years having to elapse. But the position, as I understand it, is essentially an administrative or external fundraising type position. And, you know, say what you want to about Jim Tressel. I won't get into any of that right now. But, I mean, the guy is more popular than the governor. There's a lot of people probably more popular than the governor. But you know, my point is, I think in some ways it's a good move for Akron. He can open doors. And in that corner of the state, where Akron is fighting for a lot of corporate turf, along with, you know, alumni turf, Jim Tressel's going to be able to open doors. So it's an interesting move, but I get why they did it.
I think we got it covered this time. Thanks for your questions, and we'll come back next week. Ready to see you then.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.